This is your psychic girlfriend, Robin Richardson. And if you're like me, you're interested in how the universe works and in all things mystical. So let's explore it together. Sit back, relax, and enjoy the podcast. Hello. This is Robin Richardson, your psychic girlfriend. And we have another episode of the podcast today. And let me tell you, it's the eclipse day, April 8th. And I don't know if you caught the eclipse. I was watching it on YouTube. The NASA YouTube channel is pretty impressive. I didn't have any of those glasses, so I didn't go outside. Look at it. I did do a meditation, which I felt was really important to meditate for all the good, the health, the well-being of all the people on the planet. So I did a little bit of that. And if you're new to my world, I am your psychic girlfriend, and I have been doing psychic work since 1990. I'm a Reiki master teacher, an Akashic record master teacher. I do a lot of other healing modalities. I love to teach the Akashic records. I love to help people connect to their divine plan and manifest the life that they deserve. And by that, I mean the one they richly deserve, which is what brings me to this topic. And it's on Florence Scovel Shinn. And before we get into her, if you'd like to like and subscribe, do all that. And if you'd like a reading from me, check out yourpsychicgirlfriend.com. I am on TikTok. I'm on Instagram. I'm on Facebook, YouTube. And yeah, you can find me, can get a reading. And please sign up if you'd like. All right, so Florence Scovel Shinn, and what made me, I was listening to her book, How the Game of Life and How to Play It this weekend, listening to it because I enjoy the audio of these books when people speak on YouTube. And I also pulled up her PDF because her book is in the public domain. She was born in 1871. And she died in 1940, and The Game of Life and How to Play It was published in 1925. So I just want you to take that in for a minute. 1925. Florence Scovel Shinn. I think that's how you pronounce it. A woman. I'm going to emphasize that. A female. She, her teachings were based on spiritual principles, particularly the power of positive thinking, affirmations, and the law of attraction. Her writings emphasize the idea that individuals can transform their lives by changing their thoughts and beliefs. Now, this is stuff that we've been talking about for a long time. She's an important figure in the history of New Thought and metaphysical literature. And I am, if you know me, I am a student of Neville Goddard, and I love reality transurfing. I love anything having to do with create your own world, like understanding how the world works, how the universe works, how to deliberately create the life that you desire. And Neville, good old Neville Goddard, was born in 1905, and he died in 1972. This is like, his work. When she first published her book, he was a baby, a little kid. So we got to think about this for a second, right? And I think I love his work, but it is really, I think it's very much influenced by Florence Scovel Shinn's work. There are some things that, like, I feel I lean more towards her work, her belief. And so I've been weighing certain things that Neville Goddard talks about versus what Florence talks about. And they both talk about like certain topics that that I'll get into another podcast, like manifesting specific people, and that sort of thing. Which, like, I don't know how I don't know, specific people, manifesting that. I don't know. I don't know if that's a good idea. But anyway, let's talk about the game of life. So she starts her book by saying most people consider life a battle, but it's not a battle, it's a game. And it's a game which cannot be played successfully without the knowledge of the spiritual law. And the Old and New Testaments give the rules of the game with wonderful clearness. Jesus Christ taught that it was a great game of giving and receiving. Whatsoever a man soweth, that shall he also reap. This means that whatever man sends out in word or deed will return to him. What he gives, he will receive. And I think that that's really something to, like, say what you will about the Bible, say what you will about Christianity, whatever. Like, we can use Jesus Christ, we can use the words God, we can use the word the Lord as the law, as consciousness. So insert the words that you feel the most comfortable with. As we know, there are three departments of mind: the subconscious, the conscious, and the superconscious. And the superconscious is simply power without direction, like steam or electricity. It does what it is directed to do. It has no power of induction. And whatever a man feels deeply or images clearly is impressed upon the subconscious mind and carried out in the minutest detail. So we do talk a lot about, in creating our lives, we do talk about the subconscious. And one of the things that Florence talks about in this game of life, in the first book, is talking about the imagination, and Neville Goddard talks a lot about it as well. So if you can imagine it, you can have it. So think about that. The imagination is something that we need to train so that it only brings good into our life, like health or wealth, love, friends, perfect self-expression, and highest ideals. She really does drive home this idea that we have to believe that if we can imagine it, it's done. Like, if we believe and prepare for it as if it's already ours, it will come into our manifestation. It will come into our reality in God's time, but God is never late. I kind of like that. God is never late. So she has an example about a brilliant man who attained great success, told her that he suddenly erased all fear from his consciousness by reading a sign which hung in a room. He saw it printed in large letters: "Why worry? It probably will never happen." I'm sure you've heard these words. And these words were stamped indelibly upon his subconscious mind. And he now has a firm conviction that only good can come into his life. Therefore, only good can manifest. I have that too. I feel like, the world is always taking care of me, and whatever occurs is correct. Whatever occurs is correct. So if something is not my preferred experience, I take some time to check in, to make sure my words are correct, in the sense of, is this aligning with what I want? Am I feeling it? Can I imagine it? Am I believing that it's done? So just a little checklist. Florence also talks about the law of prosperity in this book. And one of the greatest messages given to us through the scriptures is that God is man's supply, and that man can release through his spoken word all that belongs to him by divine right. He must, however, have perfect faith in his spoken word. And that's what we talked about, just creating the magic through your spoken word. And she goes on to talk about a woman who needed $3,000, and Florence worked with her to trust that it will be done. And a family member came through for her, long and shorts. So she's got a lot of these different stories in her book. And a lot of it is not being miserly, trusting that the law of prosperity brings you everything that you can imagine and what you're willing to receive. So man can only receive what he sees himself receiving. So isn't that interesting? The word sees himself receiving, and change to herself or theyself. This is written a long time ago, obviously. So it's a fascinating book for me. One of the things I love is the power of the word, and that helps me to be very clear when I'm manifesting what I want. And now I add, and she has a lot of different denials and affirmations, and she talks about when you want something, you create something, and imagine it and use the right words for it to start like trusting your intuition. And I love that because a lot of us don't trust our intuitions to guide us or to give us signs. And we can actually ask for that. We can ask for signs. We can demand that the universe bring us a sign that it's on the way. And I like that too. It's just a matter of interacting with that energy. If you know about quantum physics, the quantum mind, and quantum jumping, things like that, it's impressing upon the quantum mind and putting your focus on that, and then it materializes in your world. I believe this. What you focus on expands. So if you focus on lack, then you're going to get that. You're going to get opportunities to feel lack or experience lack. If you feel that you're focused on prosperity and abundance and things like that, and you see abundance everywhere, you start to experience it. So what I've been doing in my meditations is I understand that you have to have that knowing. You have to have that. You prepare yourself for the experience of it as if it's already done. And there's other things too, but one of the things that I am starting to do is, what do I know to be true? So I know my name is Robin. I know that is true. Like nobody could argue me out of that. There's certainty in my name is Robin, or certainty that I drive a white car. I know this. And so I sit with this knowing energy, and then I put an image of what I want while I'm sitting in that knowing energy. And I even sort of imagine that I'm sitting on a couch of knowing, or a pillow of knowing, or when I sit in this imaginary pillow of, I know, this is my knowing spot. So try that on. It's kind of fun to start playing with your inner world. And that feeling of knowing is what you need. That you know it's done, and then you go on your business, you go on your way. Okay, so I'm going to give you a couple of the affirmations and things. There's so much more in this book that I want to cover, but I think that we're going to keep this a little short today. So if you are looking for a really good prosperity affirmation, and you can use, I like the divine mind is my unfailing supply, and large sums of money come to me quickly under grace and perfect ways. And if you're a fan of Brian Scott, he has a great affirmation about money that you can keep, large quantities of money that come to you that you can keep. I love that. So it's kind of tailoring the words a little bit better. For right conditions, Florence has every plan my Father in heaven has not planned shall be dissolved and dissipated, and the divine idea now comes to pass. So for me, I'm basically like divine mind creates the right conditions for my whatever it is to come to pass. For faith, as I am one with God or the divine or the universe, whatever you like, I am one with my good, for God is both giver and the gift. I cannot separate the giver from the gift. This one's deep. We'll have to talk further on that one. The right conditions I love. I do. I love the idea of like, just give me the right conditions. Even if the wrong conditions in my mind, body and affairs, divine love is the most powerful chemical in the universe, and it dissolves everything or makes way for me. If you have some health stuff, divine love floods my consciousness with health, and every cell in my body is filled with light. I think that's something you can do in meditation. Definitely bring that divine love into your body. For eyesight, okay, I'm wearing glasses. It's taken a while. My eyes are God's eyes. I see with the eyes of spirit. I see clearly the open way. There are no obstacles on my pathway. I see clearly the perfect plan. For guidance, I am divinely sensitive to my intuitive leads and give instant obedience to thy will. Okay, I love this because a lot of people, and myself included, don't always trust the intuition, because the intuition is like telling you to do something. You're like, what? Like, I can't do that. I can't make sense of that. If you obey it and you listen and you take action from inspiration, from your intuition, often you get right where you need to be. For right work, I have I love this one. I have a perfect work in a perfect way. I give a perfect service for perfect pay. And her final one on this book is very interesting. For freedom from all bondage, I cast this burden on the Christ within, and I go free. So the Christ is really the consciousness, the imagination. I cast the burden to the divine mind, and I go free. I love that. So check out Florence's book, The Game of Life. I will put a link to the PDF or to a YouTube. I'll put a YouTube link so you can listen to the book on YouTube. So good. Love her work. And if you'd like to get a reading or some coaching from me based on what your divine records say from the Akashic Records, go to yourpsychicgirlfriend.com. Join my locals group at robinrichardson.locals.com. Become a supporter for $5 a month. You'll get live free trainings. You will get access to everything first. And then it'll become a community of people, like-minded people that want to learn more about these concepts, to live the life that they dream of, that they can imagine. And if they can't imagine it, that we could help expand that imagination for them. And this has been Robin Richardson, your psychic girlfriend, and I'll see you next time.